there's no question about it. Patrick Mahomes is not only one of the most recognizable faces in the NFL, but at this point, also throughout pop culture. For Mahomes, it must be a strange experience, because the fame seemingly came so suddenly. Austin Reeder, Mahomes' center on the Kansas City Chiefs, explained it well, telling USA Today Sports, "It's kind of funny. I think what a lot of guys on the team don't even realize is how much of a celebrity he is. I asked him recently, hey, have you seen this movie yet? He's like, nah, I can't. I gotta wait for it to come out for home viewing." That was when it hit me, Reeder said. The guy can't go to the movie theater, even with a hoodie to hide his hair. While there are obvious drawbacks to having that much fame, like, not being able to go out to public like you used to, it also comes with a $500 million contract, so I'm sure Mahomes has found peace with the situation. And if not, maybe he can buy it. His newfound fame and fortune, while seemingly sudden, did not come out of nowhere. It was the slow burn of him developing his otherworldly raw talent and eventually putting it all together. He has earned every last ounce of fame and fortune based on the way he's performed on the field during his first 2 NFL seasons alone. I mean, it sounds absurd, but when you break it down, he has done more in 2 seasons than 99% of quarterbacks do in their entire careers.
And listen, no matter what happens, you got more talent than 99% of the guys I've met.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
And he has already made a frighteningly legitimate case that he belongs in Canton. In his first year as a starter, he amassed 5,000 plus passing yards and 50 passing touchdowns, all en route to winning the regular season MVP. Only a handful of guys have done any of those single things, but he did them all in his first year as a starter. Just absurd. Then he carried his team all the way to the AFC Championship game too, and they were one boneheaded blunder on the defensive side of the ball away from making it to the Super Bowl, where, based off of how much we saw Los Angeles play, it's not too much of a stretch to suggest they might have won. And in 2019, there was no fallout from the disappointing end to the previous season either. Not even close. All Mahomes did was followed up with a breathtaking run to the Super Bowl in which he captured the Vince Lombardi Trophy and Super Bowl MVP honors, as he led an insane comeback against the San Francisco 49ers defense that was one of the best defenses in the league all season. Anyway, when you are that dominant of a player, people are gonna take notice. It probably helps that he's a charming, overall likable guy too. But even though it feels like we all know Patrick Mahomes, as it sometimes does when someone reaches such heightened levels of fame, there's actually a lot about him that the average fan doesn't know. And no, I promise we're not gonna talk about how his dad played professional baseball. I think the Fox and CBS broadcast booths have already made sure that everyone and their mother knows that. So how about we start with the fact that in addition to having one of the most ridiculous physical skill sets we've ever seen from a quarterback, he also has the good fortune of possessing a photographic memory. Yeah, a photographic memory. At least according to his former head coach at Texas Tech, Cliff Kingsbury, who told Fox 34, he's very smart. He's got a photographic memory. The first time we'd teach stuff, he'd walk it through and nail it. It's just about the work ethic and preparation and making that a lifestyle. It sounds like he's doing that. He loves when the lights come on. That's him at his best. And he's got some good stuff going for him. The Kansas City Star asked Mahomes about it, and he all but confirmed that he does in fact have a photographic memory. My dad has told me I have, but at the same time, I don't really know what that is, Mahomes said. I just know that if I see stuff, I can usually go back and tell you exactly what I see. And I think that's the same with Coach Reed. That is why we are together on such a great page during the games. What can you say? Some guys just have it all. But just because the game looks absurdly easy for Mahomes nowadays, interestingly, it has not always been that way. At least not to the degree it is now. In fact, as a 3-year starter at Texas Tech, Mahomes compiled a paltry 16-21 record. And while he did put up some pretty preposterous numbers, many NFL execs feared that he was just the next in a long line of Big 12 quarterbacks that were never going to amount to anything in the NFL.
Which quarterback do you think is going to have the steepest learning curve once they get into the pros?
I think Patrick Mahomes, just with the offense that he ran, but I think just the system and being able to go through all the progressions, the full field reads that he's going to have to do at the NFL, I think he's going to have the biggest learning curve.
After all, it is the Big 12, and we've seen plenty of guys come and go who have put up crazy numbers playing in that conference. That made it hard for seasoned NFL execs to see Mahomes as the generational player that he's proving to be.
At the end of the day, I think he's a thrower, not a passer.
I know now that we've seen his raw arm talent in action at the NFL level, the notion seems laughable. But according to Charlie Casserly, a former NFL general manager and NFL Network analyst, everyone had their doubts. The question seemed to be, who had come out of that air raid offense and been successful? Charlie Casserly told the New York Post, "He was certainly a gunslinger who left the pocket too soon and threw the ball all over the place. You saw raw talent, you didn't see discipline, and he hadn't won." And pretty hilariously, the Chiefs actually got some flack for drafting Mahomes as high as they did. They had recently brought in Alex Smith and were a steady organization, who many predicted were just going to be the latest to waste high draft capital on an underachieving Big 12 quarterback.
He has an undisciplined and unrefined game. Most of the time, these guys can't be harnessed enough to play winning football.
I bet Andy Reid and Chiefs GM Brett Veach are just thanking their lucky stars that so many Big 12 quarterbacks had failed before Mahomes, because otherwise there is no way he would have fallen to them at 10. The duo does, however, deserve some credit for keeping their interest in the Texas Tech product hush-hush, as it allowed them to shock everyone, trading up to number 10 overall to make the pick. One thing that perhaps even Veach and Reid didn't know about Mahomes was the extent of the training that Mahomes had as a boy, which helped him capitalize on his epic natural abilities. When Mahomes was a wee middle schooler, he worked with an area football coach named Reno Moore, who was a legend in Texas for his innovative ways of developing young football players. Their training sessions were far from what most young football players are exposed to. There was no trot out to the backyard to fire passes through a tire swing for 15 minutes, then inside to watch the 1 o'clock games. Moore recognized that he had a special talent. Explaining to ESPN, his pure arm strength was phenomenal. He'd make you pull out your hair trying to get him to be exact on his footwork and timing, but finally, we just said he's good enough to do some things that are special. Because Mahomes was so uniquely gifted, Moore put him through all sorts of drills that would test even a fully developed quarterback. One of them, for example, he chose in particular because it was designed to quicken release, something he felt would make his explosive arm all the more dangerous to opposing defenses. The drill was simple but effective. He'd have Mahomes lie on the ground next to the football, and on Moore's command, he would jump up and have to fire the ball through one of 3 holes down the field. And of course, the whole time Moore was monitoring to make sure he was getting the ball out quick enough. As football fans, we all kinda owe a little hat tip to Coach Moore, because forcing him to create these reactionary instincts has not only made Mahomes a beast, but also one of the most entertaining quarterbacks to watch because his style is so creative and original. All of his training paid off quickly for Mahomes, who impressed his high school coaches and subsequently college scouts with his ability to get the ball out quick. At White House High, the coaches were blown away by how fast he could get the ball out, an attribute that was particularly valuable in the White House offense, as it centered around a quick screen passing game. White House offensive coordinator Brad Cook looked back and analyzed all of Mahomes' throws in their screen passing game and found that his average release was just 0.58 of a second, compared to 0.67 of every White House quarterback since. While some athletes end up turning cold through all the fame and success, Mahomes appears to not only be an amazing talent on the field, but also a genuinely good guy. And if you need a reminder, just take a look at his wrists on any given game day. He wears a collection of bracelets that raise awareness for all the foundation that he also contributes to financially. He wears one that reads, "Team Luke, Hope for Minds." This foundation helps families who are affected by severe brain injuries. If it were just one foundation he was supporting, that would be grand. But it is far from it. Another one of the bracelets that he wears was given to him in 2019 by Whitney Wells, a 10-year-old girl who was tragically diagnosed with a rare brain tumor. She had an opportunity to meet Mahomes during a Chiefs-sponsored camp, and he now wears one bracelet with her name on it and one with the "You got this" mantra her family uses. Sadly, she passed away in December of 2019, but there is no denying the positive impact that the quarterback has made in a dire situation for the Wells family. Pat Mahomes, a beast on and off the field. Sure, he was born a freak athlete, but he looks determined as anyone to make the most of it. I'm sure as we watch him dominate the NFL for the next 2 decades, we will only learn more about the quarterback. And I hope we do, because it seems like each new, previously untold tidbit about Mahomes is more interesting than the last. Are there any other athletes you'd like to learn more about? Join us in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.